It's review time, so we have the Bluegrip J1 and Bluegrip J2 on the first revision of Donic Original Carbon Zhang Jike, or Red Zhang Jike. J1 will be forehand and J2 will be backhand. This has been tested by Coach BY for about a week and a half, and his main paddle right now is the newest revision of Red Zhang Jike, or Zhang Jike Original Carbon, and forehand is STAR Chen Meng 40 degrees, 2.1 millimeter thick, and the backhand is Dignics 09C. So this two rubbers has been used for around 4 months and being reboosted, so there's a huge advantage for the Donic J1 and J2 today. But however, he sanded the paddle, the surface of this, and took like 2 grams off, so that might affect the power and the base power of this blade. I will still be using my Xin Dynasty Carbon with Hurricane 3 on both sides.
Alright, so now we're just warming up. I'm using my Xin Dynasty with Hurricane 3s. He's using his main paddle, the third revision of Zhang Jike Original Carbon with Red Zhang Jike, forehand H3 Chen Meng STAR, and backhand Dignics 09C. The Chen Meng H3 has been boosted by 3 layers of Haifu Black and reboosted by 2 more layers after 4 months. The Dignics 09C has been boosted by a layer of Falco Platinum initially and reboosted by a layer of Falco Platinum. Both J1 and J2 are boosted by a layer of Falco Platinum recommended by Zhang Jike. Like, he didn't recommend Falco Platinum, but recommended boosting it. So that's what we did. That's why you hear the super clicky sound of all of our paddles. As for the hardness, using my durometer, the hardest is Hurricane 3. And then followed by both Dignics 09C and J1 around the same hardness level, and then J2 is the softest. As for the weight, the J1 is the heaviest at a whopping around 54 grams with the glue. J2 and Dignics 09C around the same at around 52 grams with a bunch of glue on it, and 51 to 52. And the lightest is actually the Hurricane 3, 40 degrees Chen Meng STAR, coming at around only 50 grams. With a whole bunch of glue on it. So very interesting. So the 2 paddles, the J1 with the J2 with the revision 1, 86 grams blade, is around 191 grams, and his main paddle with the H3 and Dignics 09C is around 189 grams. Alright, so now this is where he switches to his other paddle with the J1 and J2. So for me, blocking him looping with the Bluegrip J1 is, I don't feel like super threatened like the H3 nor Dignics 09C, especially the H3. I think the quality, it's pretty good, but it's not like at the super high end level, even with the Falco Platinum and the rubbers being new. The arc is, I would say, medium throw angle. Compared to the 09C and the H3, the arc is lower, definitely.
So we found out like the J1 arc isn't as high as Hurricane 3. It's like slightly less safe and more flat.
So this is where he switched to the Hurricane 3 Chen Meng STAR National, and I feel immediately the ball is pushing me back more. The arc is higher, and there's a dipping effect where the ball is smashed onto the table, and the second jump is very unpredictable. Now he has swapped to the Dignics 09C for comparison. What I found out is it's slightly more powerful than the J1, even though this is at a 4-month-old. It's pushing my hand back more. The main difference is the arc angle, the throw angle. The Dignics 09C is marginally higher, especially after the second jump. The Dignics 09C just pops up way more. So, like, holistically, the ball quality wise, I think it's around 80 to 90% of Dignics 09C. However, he thinks it's about around, like, if Dignics 09C is a 10, he would say the J1 it's like around 7 to 7.5. So he was hot swapping between the 09C and the J1, and you can physically tell the arc is higher on the 09C.
Okay, now I'm gonna go test the backhand.
Alright, so if you understand Chinese, basically what we're saying is his feedback is the quality isn't super high. However, it's very comfortable and controllable. The Donic Bluegrip J2 on the backhand. He recommends around USATD 1500. I kind of think the quality isn't too bad. I think like if you're 1800 plus, you're still fine. And I said like around 1500, you'd be using something like super soft like Tanergy. Not the TL5 hard, but like normal Tanergies. And yeah, but when I test it out, you will find something very interesting later. Alright, so this is where he hot swapped to Dignics 09C on backhand. I immediately feel the ball is more powerful, the arc is higher. And what I think overall, like the Dignics 09C compared to the Bluegrip J1, J2, both of them, doesn't matter the hardness, is Dignics 09C it's as hard as J1, however it has more tensile strength. What I mean, like the sponge has more support, so when you hit it out, the ball goes out better. However, you'll see later how the J1 is better than the 09C at one thing. So what Coach BY is saying that the arc is very low to the point that it is dipping for him to the net. The ball is dropping into the net and he's not very used to it. So now I'm going to try using the J2 and J1 as backhand. So what's happening here is when I use it, my backhand has more of a punching shot. So I am hitting through the rubber. I'm trying to use my blade to kind of smash through the ball instead of trying to spin first. This is very funny as my arc and everything feel very good. I feel very comfortable using this, using my technique where I just bully through the ball and go forward instead of quitting spin. And this is exactly what opposite of what Zhang Jike tells us to do, because he tells us to spin first and then hit second. And I'm camp fumble all the way. So fumble says hit through first and then spin second. So my philosophy worked with this rubber, which is kind of weird because this is Zhang Jike's rubber. So with some minor adjustment for me, I got used to the rubber really fast with the J2, and I really like it. I can create decent speed with it. The quality isn't super high, but it feel very good for me. So now I'm gonna switch to the J1 as backhand and see if there's any quality increase and stuff. So immediately, the first couple ball, due to the J1 has like harder sponge, I just flew off the table. But after minor adjustment, I can definitely tell the quality is higher on the J1, and I still like it a lot. I think I like it as much as J2, even slightly more, because it sinks into the sponge, and you can feel the paddle it's hitting the ball, your blade is. And I really like that feeling because I am basically doing like a forward punch as backhand, and I'm not super spin oriented. Coach BI told me to spin more. It will have a better effect, but that just didn't happen for me. I just like the punching. I think is the way to go for this kind of rubber. So here now I'm using the Dignics 09C as backhand. What I feel like the ball doesn't really sink in as much because of the higher tensile strength and support of the sponge on the Dignics 09C compared to J1 and J2, of course. However, I do like the feeling of J1, J2 more, of hitting it through it, like easier to hit it through. But D09C's top end quality is definitely higher than the J1 and J2. Alright, so here I switched back to the paddle was a Donic Bluegrip J1, J2, and start punching my way with the backhand. As you can see here, I just started punching my way through with this Donic Bluegrip J2. And what I found out is, although the quality isn't like as high as Dignics 09C, nor actually my Hurricane 3 38 STAR Qing. However, I think it's very controllable. It has a very, very nice feeling when the ball sinks into the sponge and hit onto the blade. And I also think the arc isn't that bad. Also, it lands pretty deep on the opponent's table for me, like the way I play. I think the rubber is very, very good. Yeah, the highest quality is not there, but I really like it. So now I'm going to switch to the Bluegrip J1 on the backhand. And immediately I can tell the difference. The ball quality is higher and it's more clicky, and the arc and everything is even higher. So I think Bluegrip J1 is an excellent backhand rubber. I recommend using a little bit harder blade. The blade kind of can carry this rubber. I think Viscaria is the softest you want to go with this if you have a very good backhand. You can get something even harder than a Viscaria. Actually, Zhang Jike Original Carbon or Hongzhang it's a very good example because it's slightly harder than Viscaria. So now I swapped to my own setup with the 38 STAR Hurricane 3 Qing, and Coach BY immediately can tell it's slightly more powerful. The ball goes even deeper to the table and is pushing him back a little bit more. However, I think it's a lot harder to hit through. So I think in a match like situation where you can't really use power all the time, I think J1 for backhand is an excellent choice. So forehand counter loop, I'm like just not playing well that day, especially on my forehand. I don't know why. I apologize. So this is pretty janky. And yeah, I want to apologize for my forehand counter loop. This is actually my bread and butter and my forte, but today is just not my day. However, so he started using the Hurricane 3 STAR Chen Meng 40 degrees. I immediately can tell the arc is very long. It dips down, it's like smashing onto the table. And the second jump, it just goes at you, it dips, and it's unpredictable. And I have a very hard time trying to find the exact point to contact and the timing of the contact. So this is where he switched sides, and now he's using Dignics 09C as forehand, and I can tell the arc is still pretty high. However, the ball doesn't dip on my side of the table anymore. It didn't smash down. The second jump, however, still goes up, so it's still pretty threatening, but it's nowhere near as Hurricane 3. So the last ball there, he hot swapped like immediately to the H3, and ball dipped immediately, I can tell, and that's why I was laughing. I was like, oh my god, that's so funny. And now he's using the Donic Bluegrip J1. So this is even less threatening than Dignics 09C. Everything just feels normal. The arc just feels normal. The second jump feels normal, and the power is just less. I think for the forehand, if you're at that skill level, like 2000 plus, Dignics 09C is just overall better. And then if you're like a Hurricane person, have that kind of stroke, and the Hurricane is far superior with the dip and unpredictability, dark, everything. Right, so J1 is not good at forehand. Like if you're at a high level, J2 is even worse. However, they're very controllable. So if you're at a lower level or you're pretty advanced, I don't know what your SATD rating. I have no idea. But if you just have a less powerful forehand, you just want to land on the table better, have a very better probability of landing on the table, and have more control. I think the J2 it's fine. Now some forehand open up. So first couple ball, Coach BY's balls went straight into the net as he adjusts because the arc is lower. His feedback is just doesn't have enough power for him. He's too used to the Hurricane 3's STAR's power and the arc, which is higher. Here he switched back to his main paddle with the Hurricane 3 STAR Chen Meng on the forehand, and immediately I can tell the quality just shots up. It's not even close. Ball dips, the ball arc is higher, and it's physically pushing my hand back. Okay, here he hot swapped to Dignics 09C forehand. So for me, the quality it is slightly higher than the J1, but not that much higher. However, the Dignics 09C arc is fuller, and it just have a lot more safety to get that ball over. And now he swapped back to Hurricane 3 immediately, and I feel the ball is like smashing into my hand, and I'm like pushing me back. The quality shot up again. Alright, now so he's going to do some backhand open up. There's a Donic Bluegrip J2 and J1. And he kind of switches back and forth, and he's constantly giving me feedback. So after trying, he was saying the J1, J2 for the backhand open loop, it's the quality is around the same. They're not too much different. So now he switched back to the Dignics 09C and to do some backhand open, and I can tell it's just the ball quality just shots up again. The ball is spinning, it's pushing me back more, and it's even higher quality than the J1 on the backhand open.
大于勾1大于勾2，如果是给09C 10分，我感觉勾1能给个7.5吧。7点这么低啊！哇塞！勾2能给个6.5。
So for the backhand open, just backhand in general, he scores. If Dignics 09C is like a 10, he scores J1 7.5 and J2 a 6, which is, I think they should be higher, but you know, I think he clarified at a higher level in his level. That's what he would pick, but at a lower level, like in my level or even lower, I would say they're about the same. Unless you can like hit that hard, I think J1, J2, because I think they feel better when you hit it. I think they're excellent choices.
就是这个上限高，那个上限低，所以我感觉入门槛也会稍微低一点，我感觉啊。我正好拉一个，你试试。第一个回勾2，我就正好。
So what I'm gonna do, like open up with the Donic Bluegrip J1, I feel it feels really good. It feels like you can hit through the rubber. decently easily, and it just feels nice because you're hitting through rubber. However, the quality is just not there. Yeah, against Dignics 09C and Hurricane 3.
我没有打进板。没事。这发力问题。是发力你看。你看黄标也不止这。我感觉你正手还打黄标就挺好，反手换个勾一。
For the rest of the video, he's just coaching me how to hit through my Hurricane 3 on the forehand, in like forehand open up. So the conclusion for Donic Bluegrip J1 and J2 for the backhand, for my style, which I hit through first and then spin, or just punch through, I think they're excellent rubbers. J1 definitely have a higher quality than J2. I think for backhand, the way I play, they're really great. I prefer the J1, however, it is a bit heavy, and lower level skills who doesn't have that much power, because my backhand grip is pretty powerful now. Doesn't have a lot of spin, but it's pretty fast. J2 is the way to go. And for the forehand, everything just feels normal, I would say. They're not backhand to other ESN hybrids. It's just the arc is normal, the second jump is normal. It doesn't have the second jump where it just goes up and towards you like the Dignics 09C. The arc is slightly lower than the Dignics 09C, and Hurricane 3 is not even close. Hurricane 3 have higher arc, more dip, it smashes onto the table, unpredictable second jump, where you have a hard time to try to find the timing. So I really recommend the J1 and J2 for the backhand, and at their price, which is like $40 something, like if you buy a bulk or if they're on sale at table tennis 11. I think they're an excellent choice. You can buy like 2 of those, and then that's like one price of Dignics 09C. And I really recommend it on the backhand if you're hitting through it more. I think it could work on the forehand. You can use the J1, and there's an even harder version, the D1. I think that could work better on the forehand. However, you have to hit through it first instead of just purely spinning it, or you're just as powerful as Zhang Jike and just ignore everything. Yeah, I think they're great rubbers. However, just not up to par, especially on the forehand against Dignics 09C and the Hurricane 3.